Hey everybody, good morning. Crypto Mentor 99, how you doing? I've got Laura Taylor here. Laura is a honored member of the DGBAT awareness team, woman of excellence, high integrity. But the thing I like about her the most is I've always wanted to be a teacher. Like when I was a little guy in college, I'm like, I would want to be a teacher. And someone said, oh, they don't make any money. You don't want to be a teacher. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be a teacher then. But I love when I run into people that are articulate and their passion is education. That's what Laura is. Laura, good seeing you again.
Hi, long time no see.
So yeah, when I was in college, I changed my major, and someone's like, "Oh, you don't want to be a teacher. They don't make any money." And I probably wouldn't have been a great teacher, but you have a way of explaining things that I could just tell that you act and talk like a teacher. Really.
Well, thanks. Well, I was a teacher for a while, so I love teaching. I really do.
Did you used to come home kind of, I mean, not drained because you didn't like it because you were like talking all day and that you were kind of tired, not drained, but maybe tired?
Uh, yeah, it's kind of funny when I was teaching, when I was in the classroom actually teaching, I was all pumped. Like the endorphins of actually teaching, and then when I walk out of the classroom, I'm like, because it is a bit of a performance, if
Yeah.
you're trying to get them engaged. So you do have to kind of put it out there. So, but yeah, teaching. I think it's a noble profession.
Yeah. I like that, noble. So we're doing a couple of videos today. This video, Laura is going to talk about the Digibyte awareness team and some of the Digibyte websites. Did I say that right? Websites that people may or may not be aware of. And I remember May of 2018, I saw a tweet by someone, and I'm like, Digibyte awareness team? Well, I didn't know Digibyte had an awareness team. I wonder how long they've been in existence. So I reached out to Rudy and Derek, who at the time were members of the Digibyte awareness team. Derek is no longer on the team
Just
temporarily
that,
because,
yeah, like he had to focus on his studies, so
yeah,
you
it's
know,
only a master's degree, whatever.
yeah, it's just a master's,
Yeah.
whatever.
But so I interviewed Rudy and Derek, and super interesting, super informative. So Laura's on the Digibyte awareness team. So Laura, without putting you on the spot, where do you want to start?
I would love to talk a little bit about our website. It it's been a recent release, like within the last 8 weeks,
Okay.
and I think it's something that the team really worked together to build and to contribute to, and we're constantly adding things, changing things, evolving as we get more information. Um, so I think it's a really great asset for the community to be able to go to our website and get the like kind of we keep trying to keep it very up to date
Yeah.
of what exchanges have been added or what's happening, or if there's videos or anything like that, or interviews. We put those all there. We also have suggestions for education options. We have how to start a meetup. Uh, just there's just a ton of information. We also have something new called a digitorial, which is like a weekly, just a short article from different team members talking
Really?
about things that are happening. Yeah, and they're
Cool.
fun, short articles. Just kind of keep, they're all a little bit different. We have different writers for them, and just different voices. So I think it's just a really fun place. And I think as the holidays are approaching us and everybody's going home for the holidays, I think that's a real resource. You can pull it up and say, this is what this community is about. This is what they're doing. And like so, we've got tons of resources to all the different social media sites that we're on. And so I would say, if you've got a question or you're wondering, well, what's new with Digibyte? That's a really great place to go because we do try to keep that, very very relevant, very up to date.
So
We
for
have a team member who is amazing at keeping that managed.
So I'll just interject. I'm great at cutting people off. Can you tell when they're talking? I get a master's degree in that. So I'm going to put that link below so no one has to go scramble to get a pencil or a pen. I'm going to put it in the description box below. But I remember when I did the crypto road trips, I actually, full disclosure, I actually went to that website, printed some stuff, and actually handed it out to people. So I'm a firsthand believer that not that I had all the answers, but I knew where to go for the answer.
And that's exactly what we're trying to make that be. It's like we don't. I mean, I don't have all the answers either. And if I've got a DGBAT question, if I don't feel like asking a team member, I can go there and usually find a lot of my answers there. And I think you're right. One of the other things that we have there is we have a link to free media resources and free marketing resources that if you're going, like I said, if you're going to a meetup, going to a conference, just going home for the holidays, you can print that stuff out and hand it out, and it's all free. And I think that's one of the things that kind of drew me to this community was just the generosity of other community members to, support it and to make things free and accessible and open.
So let's do this. I'm just formulating some questions in my gray matter here. So for the people that don't know anything about DGBAT, I love to explain things kind of like from the bottom up. So someone's watching for the first time, or maybe they're not watching for the first time and have no clue the function, purpose, whatever of the DGBAT awareness team. Laura, could you break it down? Like, what is it? What's the function? Is it like a board of directors? Is it like advisors? Like, kind of give us a feel for what the DGBAT awareness team is and does.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's not always super clear. So first of all, it was Derek and Rudy kind of I think started with an idea. We had a marketing effort that didn't go so great, and so they said let's band together and get these dedicated community members. We've got a lot of talent, a lot of diversity and skill set and background, and just band together and try and see what we can do to help get the word out. And so it started that way. It started kind of small with just a few people, and then I got involved because I was on the main channel and said, hey, if you need help starting a meetup, I can help you with that. And they were like, plucked me out of the, like, okay, then you're going to be that person for us, and I'm happy to do it because I'm passionate about just not even just DGBAT, but in general, I think getting the word out about this technology. And so we've got people on that team that are so diversified in their skill sets. Like we have business owners and economists and bankers and marketing professionals and engineers. So it is a professional group of people that are taking their own time. None of us are being paid. Everything is volunteer. In fact, I know I've spent quite a bit out of my pocket to make marketing materials and support different initiatives that I'm involved in. And other people have done the same thing because we just don't have we don't have funding. And we do we have affiliates with Crypto Bantam, and so we get like I think a portion of their proceeds goes to the awareness team, but we're pretty low as far as our marketing budget. So what we try to do is reach out to exchanges, reach out to businesses to help them learn how they can integrate DGBAT, go to conferences, do interviews, presentations, and just try to help educate people, whether it's an investor, whether it's a business, to what the aspects are of DGBAT and answer any questions that they have. Because there's a lot of questions. Even though DGBAT is not new, it's one of the older blockchains. I mean, it's almost 5 years old. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it might have just turned 5. Yeah. And so in crypto space, I think that's like 117 years old. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the exact proportion is. But it is an old. Even though it's older, it isn't as well known as a lot of them. And I think it's, one of the things is we don't have professional marketing initiatives and marketing budget to help with that. So that's what we do, is we just try to, get the word out, make relationships with these different companies and exchanges, and vet as best we can in this space. Nothing is perfect, nothing's 100% ever in this space, but as best we can, and work together. And kind of the first rule of thumb is, first do no harm to DGBAT. That's our, it's kind of like our little motto. Just do what we can to help, any way we can.
So thank you. So we talked about this in the first video that we did this summer, but just so people can get a feel for you and, et cetera, and your passion, when did you roll out of bed one day and go, cryptocurrency, DGBAT, I want to learn more about that? Tell us about that.
Those were two separate times. So I guess it was about 2 years ago that my sister put cryptocurrency, put Bitcoin on my radar, and blockchain, and on my radar. I started doing some research. It took me a while to get my head around it. Still trying to get my head around it. Still learning something new every day. So I, was researching different projects and that sort of thing. And I was teaching at the time. I was teaching calculus students. So I was trying to see how is this technology going to affect their majors, affect their careers. And so I was kind of studying it from a teacher's perspective. And then as I got deeper, I was like, okay, this is going to be, this is going to be involved in everything as it evolves. And so then I kind of got more of a sense of
urgency
to work with more of the general community, to get the general community just on their radar. Not that I'm going to teach everybody coding, which I cannot, but just to say, hey, this stuff is out there. Do some reading, do some research. So that was kind of my focus at first. And then as it was May of this year, right after the awareness team banded together, that I, found DGBAT. And when I started researching it and realized how it was its own blockchain, it was UTXO, it was, at that time 4.5 years old. Like, there was just so many things that it was very fast. I mean, they were focused on security and speed and decentralization. Those were all things that I was, really looking for in a project. And not that it's the only one that's got that focus, but I also kind of saw how the community worked together, and that also drew me in to see how the community really is just like it was like a colony of ants, just working as hard as they could together to solve problems. It just kind of drew me in, and then getting together with the awareness team and the members on the team are truly inspirational. Like, every day I get inspired by the work that they're doing and the time they're taking from their full-time jobs, from their families, to try and support this ecosystem. It's nice to be involved with a team of such hard workers.
Yeah, kind of interesting to me. On my last cryptocurrency road trip, the city will remain nameless, but I drove through a city and I met Devin C., who's on the DGBAT awareness team, and he's a young man. And I said, hey, dude, I'm like, where do you live? And, we had done a few interviews, so he had a little bit of a track record with me, and I'm not some crazy guy or something. And he is a young man. And I said to him, well, tell your mom, make sure you tell your mom I'm taking you out for dinner, okay? Because, he lived, in the house, and he has said that on other interviews. I'm not saying anything, that no one knows that knows Devin, but I found him to be fascinating. I don't even believe he's, I know he's under 22. I don't know what his age is, but he's under 22. Just fascinating person. And we went to this hotel. I had my light out doing the videos, and I mean, you don't even have to ask him a question, and he's off to the races with just buckets and buckets of information about DGBAT. And I'm like, dude, you are amazing. So every time I've had a personal interaction with you, Laura, with Rudy, or with Devin or Derek, it was like, wow, like these people like what they're doing and they ain't getting paid for it, you know? So thank you. Thank you for that.
Well, you're not getting paid either, so thank you.
Oh gosh. So we talked about this, I'm a little off subject here, but we talked about this in the first video that we did, and how people, you know, everybody says, or at least everybody that I know, like, well, I'm no expert, or I'm just doing what I can do. And I had made the point that I had interviewed an advisor for a project other than DGBAT, and he said to me, he's like, if people got into the crypto space a year or two, maybe 3 ago, they've got like a 4 to 6 year head start on the people that are going to be coming in. So speak a little bit. You did a really good job on the first video about, you know, people, new people coming into the space are going to need something more than a white paper to read or a Skype interview, like a face-to-face interaction, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think it really is it's the psychology of technology evolution. You know, like there's those innovator class of people, then there's the early adopter, and there's the middle adopter and late adopter. You know, kind of, and it's a psychology of like risk takers. You know, and you know, the last 10 years has been, you know, really since the inception of Bitcoin,
Yeah.
has been 10 years of the innovator class, which is not untypical. I mean, the same thing happened with computers, the internet, cell phone. You know, there's always that first people that just try something new.
Yeah.
You know, it's a new solution. They want to try it out. They're going to get their, you know, and in all that, you also too get wrecked sometimes, as we're all feeling it a bit right now. And so, but then as the technology matures, as the space evolves, then you get a chance for those early adopters that come in after things have been more proven. There's not so much speculation. The use cases are there. You know, the infrastructure is there. And I know that there's the philosophy that we don't need regulation, that this is all decentralized. But I think there needs to be a bridge there, right? If we want mass adoption, we can't just jump over a part of it. We have to kind of integrate the legacy system with this new system and you know, evolve it. Just like we did with cell phones. Like when cell phones came out, people didn't just dump their landlines.
Yeah.
You know, they kept the landlines.
Good point. Yeah.
Until they felt that the technology was solid enough that they could dump their landlines. And most people I know don't have landlines now. That wasn't the case when cell phones
That's
just
a great
came
point.
out.
Wow.
So I think it's the same kind of, it's just that same thing. But those innovators, those new people, you know, with the cell phones were like, I don't need a landline, I got a cell phone. So it just takes a while, you know, for that. But I do think because of the cautious nature of early adopters, middle adopters, main adopters, they don't just dump their landline, you know. They need a different layer of protection until they feel solid, right? And I think a person-to-person interaction, meetups and conferences, forums, seminars, things like that, they need that in order to feel like they can get integrated into this ecosystem, I think.
Interesting. So we're going on about 15 minutes. Normally when I do an interview, like we did on the first one, I always give the person I'm interviewing the last word, like, hey, is there something that we missed that you want to talk about? I'm going to do it a little bit different, maybe putting you on the spot a little bit. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this YouTube channel. Selfishly, I wanted to get answers to my questions. Like, well, I'll do a YouTube channel and then I'll get to know the people that know things, and then I'll know it. And anyhow, so maybe this won't make any sense, and maybe you could have the last word like we always do. But is there like one, like in your DGBAT day, okay, whatever that looks like, however many hours that you put in, and I'm not looking for names, whether it's the DigiByte awareness team, whether it's the meetups, whether it's whatever, are there one or two subject areas or maybe one or two questions, Laura, that people that like always seem to come up, like what's DigiByte, or is there like any main headings that people always want to know when they ask you a question, when they find out that you're with DigiByte or on the awareness team, and you're like, man, this same question pops up whether I'm in, the East Coast doing a meetup, the West Coast, the North Pole, like wherever. Is there like a question that people always ask you and you're like, man, they ask me that wherever I go?
There's like several. I think probably one of the main ones, especially right now, is when Coinbase. It's the one I get the most. And my answer to that is, getting on major exchanges like that it's not a simple task, and there's a lot of variables involved in it, and it is something that we're trying to work on and to build relationships for, and so and to answer questions and to try to get us to that place, because I do think that that's a really important avenue for our community. And it was how I got involved in crypto originally, was through Coinbase. That's my first purchase, and I think most people can say that. And so I think the community in a whole is like, when can we have this as an avenue for and it will be important as we go forward to have those kind of avenues. And so there's basically, when are we going to get on an exchange like that? And I would just say, there's not a simple answer to that. And the best thing the community can do to help support the efforts of the awareness team to make relationships with those types of exchanges is to just be as professional as you can be when you're out in public on Twitter, on Telegram, and things like that. If you can do that, it supports the entire effort. Yeah. So when I get a lot of link Coinbase and then, I know everybody's actually very nice to me. Thank you, community. Nobody's mean to me. But I would say if that's a main question, and we do get that one a lot, we're trying, and everybody could help us with that effort by being professional in public and on these as much as you can. We all get stressed, but that would be great.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys and gals. Laura Taylor, DigiByte Awareness Team, woman of character, excellence, crypto educator. And Laura, again, all joking aside, thanks for spending some time with me to record this, to get out to the DigiByte and the crypto community. You're the best.
You're the best.
No, you're the best. So no, thanks again, and we'll shut her down and do another video. But yeah, I really appreciate your passion, your enthusiasm for the crypto space, but more specifically DigiByte. You're one in a million.
Thanks, John.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.